Hakadosh Boker Or Bekiim Halacha 4, day 2. This is Siman Kafhe again. We're talking about now, we're still in the preface. We're talking about the Tefillin. Yesterday we spoke about what exactly does the word Tefillin mean? What does the word Totafot mean? How many mitzvot is it? Is it one mitzvah, two mitzvot? How many mitzvot if you don't put on the Tefillin? Today we're going to continue with the preface and we're going to speak about the philosophy of the mitzvah. So let's start. The Gemara Masech Menachot Daf Mem Gimel Amud Bet says, anyone who has Tefillin on his head, an arm, right? And he's got the tzitzit on his garment. Mezuzah in the doorway. He's guaranteed muftach lo shelo yechetah, that he will not sin. The Rambam explains that each of these items remind the person that he's commanding to fulfill the will of Hashem, and therefore they are going to be the agents of Hashem, and therefore the malachim, which are the agents of the Hashem, are going to come and they're going to save him. Midah k'neged midah. This is likely the part of the purpose of the mitzvah, to protect us. The Chinuch says, since man is a physical being, he's naturally drawn to fulfill his desires. It's a nature of all living beings to seek whatever is pleasurable and comfortable for them. A person might act like a beast, like a horse, mule, if it wasn't for the fact that Hashem gave us, right, the soul, the neshama, to come and to steer us in a proper way. Nevertheless, since the soul is from the earth, he says, is in a body, and the body comes from here and it's far away from the heaven, it's very, very difficult. So therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu came and he gave guards to protect the soul. And therefore, if not, then the body will come and just murder the soul, just take it over. So Hashem wants us to be a holy nation, pristine, pure, and therefore He appointed powerful guards for the soul. One guard is learning Torah day and night time. Another ones are mitzvot, whether it's going to be the tzitzit, the mezuzah, tefillin on the hands and the arm. All these mitzvot were given to avoid wicked acts and in order to remind us that we are very holy people. Since this is a fundamental purpose of the mitzvah, we are commanded to remain constantly aware of the presence when we're wearing them. That's why you see how powerful influence our bodies are over our souls. Despite all the guards, the body sometimes succeeds, right, in still overcoming the soul and makes us sin. So in short, the chinuch is telling us that they're guarding us to protect us from doing sin. The purpose of the mitzvah tefillin is written openly in the Torah, where it says, "Vayale lecha leot lecha zikom menecha leman tiyeh Torat Hashem beficha ki b'yachazakah tiyeh Hashem mitzayim." What does that mean? He's telling you the purpose. So therefore, we have to actually do it in order to remember Yitziat Mitzrayim, right, and remember the commands. And so the Lord of Friday suggested that we place the tefillin by our hearts and our eyes in order to prevent us from becoming haughty. Haughtiness is characterized by the person who carries his heart and eyes, right? They're carrying them up. So for this reason, the tefillin scrolls must be written with black ink. The leather housing is supposed to be blackened on the outer side, and the straps must be dyed black. The color black signifies humility, as is brought down in the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin 92a. What about an ot, the sign in the treatment? So it says the Sefer Mitzvot Gadol, the Samag. He says there are only been 3 of the 630 mitzvot have the status of being both a sign and a testament. Also an ot, right, and a chok. He says like this: they are circumcision, Shabbat, and tefillin. So he says it's going to be an ot, but it says, right, a sign. So again, you have the Brit Milah, Shabbat, and tefillin. So he says, it says like this: 2 witnesses are sufficient to validate the point, and a Jew is incomplete unless he provides 2 witnesses. On every weekday, a Jew must fulfill the mitzvah of tefillin in order to have the testament and 2 witnesses: the sign of his circumcision and the sign of tefillin. On Shabbat or Yom Tov, right? He says because Yom Tov is also like Shabbat, and therefore it's also like an ot. You don't need the tefillin because on that day you already have the second witness. You have the Shabbat and Yom Tov plus the Brit Milah. Anyone who fails to don tefillin during a weekday, so then he only has one sign that he's a Jew, and therefore our sages say that he's excommunicated by Hashem. That's a beautiful explanation, by the way. So he says in the introduction, the Yakuyu says Shabbat in English. He says that the Chavetz Chaim explained that Shabbat can be compared to the sign of the top of a shop advertising its wares. Even when the shop is closed, passerbys know that it's going to be reopened since the sign is still hanging. Once the sign is taken down, however, everyone knows the business is closed for good. In the same way, a Jew who fails to fulfill some of the mitzvot but still observes Shabbat, he's still considered a member of the fold. If he ceases to observe Shabbat, it's as if that he lost his label. That's why you see, people say, Rabbi, why is Mechalel Shabbat so much more important than anything else? Why can't it be anything else? No, Mechalel Shabbat, Sof Pasuk. Why? Now you just explain why. Our sages not to teach that a person who fulfills the mitzvah of tefillin is no longer considered a Jew. Nevertheless, such a person has cast away one of the basic signs of his connection with Hashem. Okay? Fine. What about the arm and head? Right? What about the 1 compartment or 4 compartments? So it says like this: Rav Tuvia Levi, he lived in Sfat 400 years ago, right? And he was a disciple of Rav Shlomo Segis. He authored the Chen Tov, a commentary on the Torah, and published in Venice. On page 164, he wrote the following: I would like to explain why the 4 passages of Tefillin are written in 4 separate pieces of parchment, inserted in 4 compartments for the Tefillin Shel Rosh, while all 4 are in 1 parchment and in the Tefillin Shel Yad. My suggestion is Hashem wished to give the people Yisrael the best opportunities. He gave them a sign to place between their eyes. This gives them the power to control the parts of the human body that function involuntarily. This is similar to the concept of Chachamim, what they say in Masechet Nedarim, Daf Lamed Bet Amud Aleph, that until the Brit Milah of Avraham Avinu, he was in control of 243 parts of the body, right? Which is the numerical value of his name, Avram. Once he had the letter Hey and he had the Brit Milah, now it's 248 because the letter Hey is 5. So for now he's in control of over 5. What is that? The Ran explained that until the circumcision, Avraham had no control of his eyes or his ears. His eyes saw whatever was in front of him, and his ears heard whatever there was there, whatever what he's hearing. After the Brit Milah, he saw and heard only things that enhance his service to Hashem. The Tefillin Shel Rosh contains 4 compartments because it assists a person controlling 2 eyes and 2 ears to see and hear the things that help him to do the service of Hashem. The passage of the Sheman Yaim Shamua correspond to one's ears, while the passage of Kadesh Li V'Yaki Be'echa, they are to one's eyes. The eyes and ears are located in one's head, and therefore the Tefillin Shel Rosh has 4 compartments. The Tefillin Shel Yad has only 1 compartment, and it corresponds to a person's heart. The heart is the center of the operation, it controls the entire body. Therefore, all 4 passages of the Tefillin are placed against the heart. The Rabbi explained it this way, but this was a beautiful explanation until now. Basically, what we're doing is there are 2 eyes, 2 ears, and each one is a separate body part, and therefore that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu came once he had the Brit Milah, which was the 5th one, obviously, which is Rosh HaGeviyah. That's when it was the 5th one, so therefore you had the other 4, which are the 2 eyes and 2 ears, and therefore you have 4 compartments in the head, and they're all 4 separate, but now you have the control over those body parts. The Rabbi explained it in this way: a Tefillin Shel Yad is placed on the arm because it corresponds to one sense of feeling. People feel mainly with their hands. Since it corresponds to only one of the 5 senses, Tefillin Shel Yad has 1 compartment. The Tefillin Shel Rosh, in contrast, has 4 compartments for the 4 senses: sight, hearing, taste, and smell. Meaning all those 4 things are in the head: smell, sight, hearing, right, and what do we say? The last one was and taste, right? So since all 4 have to do with again in the body, which is going to be in the head, so therefore that's why you're going to have 4 different parashiot. By wearing the tefillin, we call upon ourselves that we recognize Hashem, His graciousness, His providence over all living creatures with all 5 senses. So the Shabbat Tefillin Shel Rosh on the right side reaches down until one's navel, signifying that God directly controls everything that goes on in the entire world, even when the process is going deep inside, behind the scenes. So that's why we discard the notion that Hashem controls only the heavenly bodies and nothing below it. Furthermore, Tefillin Shel Yad corresponds to the mighty hand with which HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out b'chozek yad. Tefillin Shel Rosh corresponds to the miracles of the Exodus of Egypt, which our ancestors witnessed with their own eyes. Have a wonderful day.